very cold, so I'm gonna make soup for the week. Let's talk about some of the things happening in the world right now. You've probably seen the images of protests in Iran. Hundreds of thousands of people are protesting the Iranian regime. These protests are looking like they're bigger than some of the other anti-regime protests we've seen in previous years. And, you know, I will say it's pretty hard to know exactly what's going on because they now have an internet blackout. And so we're not operating with a lot of great information, but from what we can see, these protests are really widespread and big. And the Iranian regime has responded with a lot of violence. Some estimates are that 500 people have been killed. I've seen higher, I've seen lower. But in any case, they are responding with a lot of repression, cutting off internet connectivity, and, you know, just a lot of bad things. You might have also seen that Donald Trump is, you know, doing the Donald Trump thing and saying that the U.S. is going to intervene and is now looking at options of how to intervene. So here's the thing about this. The government of Iran is not good, right? They should not be repressing their people like this. The Iranian people have the right to take to the streets, to make their voices heard, to protest without retribution and violence. And the Iranian people have the right to decide who governs them. At the same time, we should not be waging military war against the regime. We should not be intervening in that way. For a few reasons. One, it would be illegal. But two is that regime change is a really tricky business. It often causes vacuums that rival militias, other authoritarians try and take advantage of. There's no guarantee that, you know, doing that will actually create a better government for the Iranian people. And one of the things we've seen in other countries is that when the U.S. actually, you know, intervenes and helps the protesters, it can sometimes discredit those protesters and feed into the regime propaganda that these are all people who are paid by Americans or, you know, trying to help America instead of looking out for Iranians, and that's not good. We want the protesters to be as, you know, have as much legitimacy with the Iranian people as possible, because at the end of the day, the Iranian people are the ones who are going to get to decide who leads them, not the United States, no one else. So that's why I'm really concerned about some of these reports we've seen.
Okay, back to the soup. After I cut all the chicken, I made a simple marinade and then the soup base separately.
All right, and the recipe calls for white pepper, but I couldn't find that at the store. So we're doing red pepper and black pepper to try and stimulate it. We're just putting a little bit of olive oil here, just so things don't stick.
And full disclaimer, this is definitely not authentic. I made a lot of changes to try and make it healthier and quicker, but still satisfy my craving.
So look, the United States already has significant sanctions on the regime, right? And we should be looking for other ways to hold them accountable non-militarily. But we should not be doing military strikes. That doesn't make any sense. All right, we're gonna turn the heat off. We're gonna stir, and we're gonna flour the egg and stir while we're pouring it in. Look how beautiful this looks. All right, a nice steaming bowl of homemade hot and sour soup. Very delicious. So if you have any other questions about what's happening in Iran or anywhere else around the world, put them in the comments and we'll try and answer.